The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you could need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the God. The Rift Nation Network, streaming live on this Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Joni Skinner. And every Wednesday, we combine forensic astrology with true crime, missing cases, current cases, mysteries, current events, and cold cases. How is everybody this lovely Wednesday evening? I hope everybody's doing well. Let's check in with the chat. How are y'all? I know weather is crazy this week. I had emailed my friends down, or text my friends down in Texas, and I said, Tammy, you've got 2 feet of rain forecast. Make sure you look at, because I know you had that flash flooding, and I was worried about you and Kathy. And I knew, Tammy, if I got a hold of you, you would touch base with Kathy. And I thought, Lisa's already texted them. So I'm glad to see y'all are in the chat. I was worried about y'all down in Texas. I hope you guys are doing okay. It's craziness. And I did it to Cindy up and my friends up in Canada. And I'm like, look out. You guys have tornadoes headed your way. It's crazy. I think after we go through this case tonight, I'm going to show you why it's so crazy. The astrology that's going on currently, I'm going to show you what's going on, and you'll be able to see why. So, we had another trial last week, and Donna had said that she had been keeping up with the Millete case, and I was like, I don't remember this case. Well, sure enough, we had covered Maya's case, Maya Millete's case. Now, I can't remember if this was just on Blog Talk Radio or if we were doing vidcasts then at the time. But the more I started to research and go back and look through the trial and information, I was like, I remember this case now. Do y'all remember we had a missing young lady out in the San Diego area, which we have California, we have Texas, we have Florida, we have Tennessee, all over the country. But long story short, do you all remember how the community, the police were not doing a whole lot? She's just a missing person. And we had a case, and this is one of the few that I've ever seen like this, where the community stepped up. They were in front of the police station wanting things done, wanting to get things done. And it wasn't, I think the police were doing what they could. It was an investigation, but they were not keeping people, they were not keeping people updated, et cetera, et cetera. And this was back in 2021. And I remember we covered this, and I went back and looked right when she had disappeared, and we had literally no information. So what happens is, this was in 2021. Fast forward to July of 2026, we had the trial. And of course, during the trial, or even the preliminary, the pre-hearing, it's really called a pre-hearing, and then you have the hearing. Even in the prelim, you start to get the information, as we all saw last week with Tyler Robinson and the Charlie Kirk homicide. We got more information than we've ever gotten. It comes out at the prelim. A lot of it. They save a lot for the trial too, because they want they can't taint the jury pool, but we get a lot of information at the prelim. So long story short, we have the timelines now, because you literally have to wait we've waited 5 years for the timelines. They were coming out a little bit, but not much. So what I did is, I won't keep you in suspense. He was found guilty last week. She has never been found, right? This is not unusual. I remember back in the late 80s, I worked a case, and she was from Ohio. Her name was Carrie Culberson. She has never been found. Late 80s. Convicted. Sentenced. The perp. And May's husband, she has never been found. They can do it. They can do it, especially now. Back in the 80s, we did not have the forensics that we do now, and it was all circumstantial evidence, but there was enough there with some of the cases that juries convict. Just depends on the prosecutors. But I remembered, if y'all remember, the community got together and really stuck behind her, and it's one of we've had a couple of cases like that, where the community really steps up, and May's case was one of them. So I'm going to go through the timeline tonight. I won't get stuck into a lot of the details from the court case, because you can get bogged down with, was she messing around? Was she not? Blah, blah, blah. Get into all that drama. I don't want to. I want to stick with the timeline. and kind of stick with the facts that came out at trial. So let's check in with the chat and we will get started. This is an interesting case because of the timeline. I really kind of guessed when I was mapping this. I did 3 charts, and you guys are going to see what we call. I hate to call it this, but it's called a death pattern, and you can start to see it unfold in a chart. I've seen it now quite a few times, and it just you see it unfold. And what happens when you have a case with a trial? We know all the facts now. So it's not a guessing game at all. We've got all the information, which is very, very helpful. I went by what the investigator said that they thought where she may be due to some logistics, but it's still not a guarantee. So we'll wait and see, but I'll show y'all. And if you guys think of anything like in the course of me showing it to you, please stick it in the chat. I love to hear it. So let's check everybody, see who's with us tonight. Hello, Miss Linda. She is back. Linda had a birthday. We had birthdays this week. We had Lois this week. We had Linda this week. Everybody's birthdays. All the Cancer birthdays. I hope you had a good birthday, Miss Linda. Hello, Miss Lisa. How are you, dear? And there's the coming from the Noah's Ark down in Texas, where, Lord, girl, how many inches of rain have you gotten? Are you guys in that area or not? I hope you're staying safe, friends. Hello, Miss Kathy. I hope you're staying safe too, hon. I've been thinking about y'all. I have been thinking about you guys down there. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Miss Lisa. Hello, Miss Donna. How are you? How's it going, my friend? How's things going? Tornado hit on north side of San Antonio. I saw that. You know, I don't know what I would do, you guys, without Ryan Hall and Max Velocity. They are on YouTube, and I know Max is a meteorologist. I think Ryan Hall has gone to school as well. I'm not sure, but I know he's got meteorologists like Andy that he plugs into during his course of his show. I don't know what I would have done when we had that tornado forming above us a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, without them and watching it form and with their technology. I'm telling you, they were lifesavers. They're scary. You know, we usually go outside and look for them, but when it's forming above your head, you don't you don't go outside. You hit the bathroom or the basement. Hello, Mr. Odell. How are you? I hope you're doing well, hon. Oh crap. Wait, oops, I lost you guys. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Well, I saw where Kathy said, wait, let me see what Kathy said. One tornado 2 blocks away to my right and another about 3 miles away by Alamo Heights. Stay safe, dear. Keep that for you. Do you have that on your phone where your phone goes off? It's scary when they're so close, isn't it, Kathy? I know we usually go outside and look for them. We usually we'll look and we'll look on the radar, look where they're at. You know, it came within 50 yards of hitting our office. 50 yards. Dang, too close for comfort. It's scary, isn't it, Kathy? It's scary, y'all. Be safe. Are you out of the woods yet? Oh, yes, please do that. Please hit the like button and the share. Thank you, Miss Tammy. And Mr. Keith, thank you. Thank you for sharing us out. I know you love AI. Well, Ryan and Max Velocity are not AI. They're live people. They're live on YouTube. They're the storm people, and they have storm chasers that are on there too. I love them. Everybody watches Ryan Hall. Everybody watches Ryan Hall, y'all. Everybody. He's a Kentucky boy. He's up in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, up in close to Virginia. He's almost next to Virginia, up by the Blue Ridge. Well, Appalachia, Blue Ridge, right in that little triangle. 10 inches. Lord, well, that beats 2 feet, doesn't it, Tammy? Lord have mercy. Keith sits on the front porch. You know, we go out and look too, but when they start saying the name of your subdivision and it's headed for you, that's when we decided to get the cat and get undercover. I had my purse, I had my medicine, I grabbed cat food. I grabbed the cat food and the cat. That's it. Nothing else. I thought, well, the cat's got to eat. So I had cat food in the bathroom with us. Yeah, I'm glad y'all made it. Glad y'all made it. Hello, Miss Denise, hanging in the back. How are you feeling, hon? Miss Denise was feeling a little under the weather. The weather. Miss Denise, I hope you're feeling better, hon. Everybody send Denise some good vibes, y'all. Send Denise some good healing vibes, everybody. One blew my windows in 3 years ago. It's scary, isn't it, Keith? Oh, police software. Oh, I don't know what police software is. You'll have to explain that to me sometime. I watch JLR and True Crime. I don't know what police, Ashley Banfield and all them. And the interview room. Told my grandkids in the bathtub if it hits. It is, yeah. That's where we had to go to. We don't have a basement, so we had to go in the bathroom. And usually Matt goes outside and he's out there looking around. The last tornado, I was outside with my neighbor. He had just flown into the airport and said it was really clear. We were looking for it. We watched it like head up the street. And this one was a little weird. We were in the bath. You're right. That's where we go, in the bathroom. It was a little tight. With all of us, the cat was going nuts. The cat was going nuts. The newsman from Channel 5 was praying. They're 1 mile from my house. I'm telling you, they're scary. They're scary, Kathy. All of the businesses near my work, it went across the highway and everything. They lost a roof. The roof is already back on. All the trees that were cut down, they're all cleaned up. So it took about a week to get everything cleaned up. And then National Weather comes in and they raid it and say, yes, it was a tornado. And they did that. And I'll tell you, never again. Scary. Still battling the germs. Adding alcohol to try and drown them. That works. That works. You know, whiskey. You know, when I was growing up, we would get hot toddies. My mom and my grandma would make us hot toddies, which are bourbon and a little lemon and some sugar and honey. Hot toddies. It's crazy. Now you can't do that. You'd probably get in trouble. She'd probably get in trouble these days. I don't know. The old hot toddies. That alcohol will get it. That'll work. And a warm hot toddy. Let's get started, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. You guys, we love to look at our cases and keep up to date with what's going on. And now I remember this particular case. And so I'm glad I'm glad that it worked out with the courts. He was found guilty. His sentencing has not happened yet. So when he gets sentenced, I'll keep you all updated when we go through the sentencing. I wanted to show you all this particular picture, and I want you to keep this background in the back of your mind. Now, it's like Donna and I were talking. it happens quite often that when somebody goes missing and somebody moves the particular person, they will go to places that they are very familiar with the area. They rarely go to a place that they don't know about. So let's get into this, but I want you guys to look at this background that May was at. Okay, now she was married. She got married very early. I'll give a little bit of just a little bit of information, background information. May and her husband, Larry, were married when they were very young, 18. They immigrated from the Philippines to America, had fantastic jobs. They both worked go to San Diego. They both worked at the naval base in San Diego. He was an optometrist or optician, one of the two. And she also worked and had an excellent job. They had 3 small children. They had been married for a fairly long time, young marriage. Immigrated to the country, beautiful home, great jobs, 3 great kids. And, the marriage seemed to, take a turn for the worst. What people started to notice, that Larry became very possessive type, and was accusing her of doing this or that, and constantly calling, where are you? Became very possessive. So they also, it's a well-known fact too, that when a marriage starts to go south or end, the hardest and most dangerous time for a female is when she advises that it's the leaving or the breaking free point. That's when the danger usually hits for women. So remember that in the back of your mind with friends or anybody else, that the last thing you want to do if you're in a situation where they could be abusive or even verbally abusive, just don't say, I'm filing for divorce. Just don't tell them, because that's when it gets bad. It can get ugly. And apparently that's what happened here, and I mean, it almost is like a bad trigger for people that aren't wrapped too tight. So here's just a basic timeline. Like I said, the trial is on YouTube. You can really go back and get a lot more information, but I kind of picked up the highlights of it. So on January the 7th, it is the last known video of May in her Jeep mid-afternoon. She came home. We've got that on Ring camera. Okay. We've also got on January the 7th that at 5:48 p.m. she made a phone call. 8:15 p.m. last text message. And at 1:25 a.m. her phone terminated service. And that means it was either shut off, it went in airplane mode, but at 1:25 a.m. service was terminated. Now, it is also was brought out at 10 p.m. the neighbor's Ring camera, the audio portion, I don't know if it was a Ring, but it was a camera. At 10 p.m., the camera picked up loud booming sounds from the home that could have been gunshot. 10:30 p.m., they heard children outside playing in the backyard on the audio camera. And it was a school night, 10:30 p.m. And these are young children, 9, 11, and a 4-year-old outside in the winter playing, 10:30 p.m. On January 8th, the SUV backs up to their garage at 5:30 a.m. And at 6:45 a.m., an SUV leaves the garage. The SUV returns home 12 hours later. Now, it also came out in trial that They went through the logistics in the car. However, because they waited for a pretty long period of time, the only thing that they could pull out of the car was at 3:20 p.m. Their home address was put into the car map on how to get home. There were 444 miles unaccounted for, right? And it's 200 miles each way. So there were 444 miles unaccounted for. So this is kind of just a short timeline. There's a lot more in between that, but these are kind of, like I said, the highlights. Now, that was on 1/7. The family came over the following day, same old, claimed that she was asleep. They came back the next day. Larry claimed that she had gone for a hike, so they could never get in touch with her, which was very unusual for May. So on January the 10th, May's daughter had a birthday party. The family attended. No May. Okay? Like I said, they had tried to come over and see May, unsuccessfully, stating she's either in the bedroom or in a hike. Police, her sister reported that she had gone missing. The police treated it as a missing persons case, right? They were in no big hurry. The family began to form search parties. This is when we started to look at this case around this time. The husband of the co-worker was a Navy lawyer. He went over to the house to speak to Larry. The lawyer, who was a friend of his wife, was a friend of May's as a co-worker, canvassed the neighborhood, came up with all of these ring cameras with the loud bangs, with the children playing. The police did not. It was this particular gentleman. So thank goodness for him. Thank goodness for him. Also got the car pulling out. Okay, so in April of 21, she disappeared in January. The family started to hold rallies in front of the police department. Media coverage started to take over. And y'all know what happens when media coverage and or YouTube, social media, takes and links into a missing persons case. Action starts. So April of 2021, the family started. In the summer, Larry was named a person of interest. And then in October of 2019, 9 months after her disappearance, Larry was arrested. It is now July of 2026. He has been found guilty. So we're waiting for his sentencing. So he has been found guilty. This is the video. This is the last known video of May. And this is where she was coming into the home. Last known video. This is the chart. I'm going to show you guys the charts a little bit separately. This is the chart when the shots and the kids were outside, right? This is one of the I think this is number one. Yeah, this is number one at 10:30 p.m. So we heard shots at around 10 p.m. And as you can see, and I'll just kind of run you through these charts fairly quickly. Fourth house in the home, right? That's where in the home. There's the children, Mercury. That could also, that's the children. But what we want to look at, what is very telling in this one particular chart is, look at Mars, Uranus are together up in the 8th house, right? I am going to assume, I'm not going to assume, according to the astrology, May is no longer with us. She has, she's transitioned because of the 8th house situation. So she has transitioned. Again, this is when the children are outside of the home. We hear the shots. Neighbors Okay, neighbors are also the third house. Okay, this is 1:25 a.m. when the phone was terminated. So we're getting a little bit more information. Of course, May is the moon. She's in the orange, right? Mars and Pluto are indications that that's her. Remember, this is the ruler. We look at the ruler of Scorpio, which is Pluto and Mars. We've got her still in the neighborhood because she's in the third house, right? Look at that nasty. That's called it. See that triangle? There was a nasty T-square. Uranus and Mars. We just had that conjunction a couple weeks ago. And I said, be careful. It can go sour very quickly when we have Mars and Uranus together. And it can go violent very quickly. And it happened. This is exactly what happened. And this was in 2021. He is Taurus, which is Venus. So he's in the second house. And I don't know what that could indicate. That could indicate money, things of value. This is the phone. Communications would be the third house, right? So May is in the third house. Communication, Mercury is right next to her, which is the phone. A phone is Mercury. So you can clearly see where the phone was. Something happened to the phone. I think he destroyed it because we've got Uranus and Mars connected. I think this is where he destroyed the phone. She's right next to the phone is Pluto. So that's the second chart, right? Okay. So now we've got the third chart. This is the king chart. This is the one that I zoned in on. This was at 6, I think I did 6:25. Let me look. 6:45 a.m. is when he left the home. So as you can see, this chart has made a lot of shifting. So May is Capricorn in the first house. She is still in the second house. So I wonder what kind of information was with money with this. Money about him with money. I don't know. She's also the moon up in the 11th house, which is the co-ruler. He is represented by Cancer in the 7th house, so he's up in the 11th house as well. So I remember the 444 miles that the police detective talked about that was unaccounted for in the car. If we look at the MC and IC, it's a 4. So I thought, I am going to it's a crapshoot. I don't know because they have searched everywhere for her, can't find her. But the detective felt that it was round trip was to an area called Blythe, California. Remember the picture of May that I showed y'all? And I said, remember this background because it's like by the desert and a lake. And they were familiar with this area. So let's see if any of our calculations from any of the charts, and I went for the 4 chart because of the fact that 4 was indicated from the trial transcripts. 444. I thought, well, what have we got to lose? Let's see if any of our lines from this particular chart, and this was, in this chart, if any of our lines went up to anywhere near Blythe, California, which is 200 miles. So, when you have a situation like this in San Diego where where in the world, especially around a desert, it's just so frustrating because how do you find them? How in the world do you find them? So I looked at the chart and look at that. What was funny is the fifth house. This is a lake. This is a place that people go and they camp, Blythe, and they loved it. Recreation. What is the fifth house? The fifth house is places that you love. It's where you give enjoyment. It's hobbies. It's creativity. It's also children. So it would be places that you love. Okay, so we've got two pieces of the puzzle. We've got a park or a lake area where people go and have fun. 444 miles. It's worth a shot. Is there anything else in this chart that gave me an indication? No, not really. Because it just didn't. Nothing stuck out to me. Maybe a little bit of mental illness with Neptune, maybe camera in the neighborhood. The third house is neighborhood. Neptune is camera, right? We did see him leaving at 6:45 a.m. on the neighbor's camera. That is up there with her. It's attached to her. She was in the vehicle. So, then there was some speculation. And I thought, there's an older man, another man involved here. Sun, remember Sun? Anytime a Sun first house was involved with this situation. Well, I'm going to find out some of her credit cards were burnt. And, some people there were some rumors, alleged rumors that his brother had also known some things that had occurred. Now, maybe his brother thought she ran away. He had convinced his family that she was fooling around, that she had gone wild and probably ran away, right? So we found out that's not the case. So that's kind of what I got out of this chart was, 444. And when you've got charts like this, you've got to look at the death pattern and try to read through things that we really don't know anything. We just don't know, but we know enough to make it dangerous. I almost like it when we don't know anything because this puts seeds of doubt when you know almost too much. So here is the camera where he was leaving with her at 6:45. That's a great question, Miss Tammy. He took the 4-year-old and claimed that he left at 6:45 and came back 12 hours later and went to a beach 20 miles away. He left the 9-year-old and the 11-year-old children at home to fend for themselves. Right? His phone did not turn on for the entire 12 hours. He did not have his phone on. But when his phone turned on, it was like at 8, I forget, it was at a high volume of time on it. There were a lot of really sketchy things that popped up with his stories. So he had the 4-year-old, the little one. So he had one. So he had taken her, more than likely hit her in the back, I'm assuming. And this was a very small woman, 5 foot, 100 pounds. So she was a very small woman. So the trial found him guilty. Hello, Miss Cindy. Cindy's listening and driving. So here are our 3 charts. And Tammy, I saw this in the chat. What were you saying? Okay, we'll interrupt a little bit. Where you said somebody went to the hospital, and then I missed the rest. Okay, I'm looking in the chat. Okay, so Tammy says, prayers for my niece. My sister just called. Niece, 50-year-old boyfriend was rushed to the hospital, passed out. in the boxing ring. They just called he passed away. Sorry to hear that, Tammy. Gosh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Listening and driving. Hello, Miss Cindy. Be careful, hon, driving. Oh, now I remember this tape. He claims he took the child to the beach. Yes. Yes. We did look at this case. But Tammy, we didn't have anything to go on. No timestamps, nothing. This was right when the case started. So here are our three charts we did. I did a 1, 2, and a 3. And you can see how the pattern, we've got the T-square. The red lines are bad. This is a bad chart. This is a nasty chart with the T-squares. It's like double T-square action. It's awful. It's a trigger. This is a trigger. And then at the 6:45, that T-square is pretty well dissolved and over with. Which is a shame. So I looked at all three of them, and I still, like I said, it was a crapshoot, but I thought, I'm going to try it. What do you know, y'all? Look at this. Guess what happened in the third chart? Second chart didn't go there. First chart didn't go there. The third chart went to Blythe. I cannot make this up. The third chart took us to Blythe. Exactly where the detective thought that the car went, the 444 miles, which is 200 up there and 200 back, right to Blythe. So I was like, bam, we got it. So there's San Diego at the bottom. And I only put the lines in that went to Blythe because the other lines really don't matter. So look at this, y'all. There's San Diego's down at the bottom. There's Blythe right there. Look at that up at the top where I took a yellow line around the lake area. Look at that tiny little wedge, and I circled it in blue, which is right off of a highway. I would check there for sure. Where is that? At Parker Strip. The lake, right before you get to the lake, whatever city, Parker Strip, that area. There's a couple little of highways that are off the road, and this is desert, right? We saw in the background this desert area. Right in between there's another wedge. I couldn't believe it. Right to it. Now look at the background, y'all. He had an SUV. You could go off-road. Right? There we go. I think that's where she is, in that area, up where Blythe is. So again, I drew here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Okay, there we go. So I drew a yellow line around the lake area, but that Parker Strip in that area, or down by like Quartzsite, that line goes through there. I would search in that area. This is vast area of desert, so it would be very tough. But they are out there, and they have searched. But it would be worth it to get a drone and go over and see if you could see anything. I know that it's 5 years. I know they have water and they have the washes up there, but this map was impressive that we went right to where the detective assumed that this is. There's the circle, so you can see the lake a little bit better. Look at the line down at the bottom, right there, right before you get to this lake area. So I don't think, according to the astrology map, there we go. Look at that. So you could take that, route 10 through Blythe, and then up by, what is it? It starts with the U, Boise, Vicksburg. There's a little road, 72, right there. And it wouldn't be that far off the road. You've got a 4-year-old in the car. It would not be that far off the road. Boom, boom, quick. So you got Poston, that area, anywhere where the highway is, and you can get off the road. I would drive up and down that 72 and look for little off-roads within this map area. I mean, this is it's got to be it. According to, like I said, it's a crapshoot. But again, this is where the detective felt that this is where they felt he went because of the 444 miles. And when I look at the astrology and I look at the map and the chart, this was the 645. I don't know. I think it could be it. I'm praying it would be, but we just don't know. Donna, we need the gizmo. Need the gizmo up there. We need Mike and the gizmo because, see, the gizmo is that machine, and Mike's talked about it on a live show before, where you put the DNA in there. And I remember when they first started the gizmo, it was within 25 miles? Now is it within 100 miles? The gizmo can pick up DNA. That would be helpful. But I like that wedge up by Parker. And I like that road off of 10, and I mean, I think that, don't you, Donna, think the gizmo could pick this up? And if the gizmo matches the chart and what the detectives felt, boom, you got it. You got the area. That's where it is. That's where she is. So I was really glad that, the first chart didn't go up to that area. Second chart didn't go. The last chart went, there's Blythe right there. And then they felt that he had gone to this lake, whatever this lake something is, because that's where they were familiar with. But look at that area back there where they hike. This is where like Dylan Rounds was. This is very tough terrain. Aiden is up there. I mean, Dylan Rounds was found, but they never gave up. They never gave up. So I may send this, Donna, to the detective. It cannot hurt, because what's the odds of a chart going right up to Blythe? And the mileage on the chart was 4 at the IC, which is the end of the matter. When you get a chart, the end of the matter is the IC. The gizmo. Yeah, the gizmo. How the gizmo has, I'm trying to think. I remember when the gizmo, when they started talking about it, Donna, and it was during COVID, I think, wasn't it? How old is the gizmo? Like maybe 7 years old, 8 years old. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But the gizmo, what they do, Denise, is they get DNA from a family member, and the little gizmo picks up if that DNA is in the area. And it was within 25 miles. And then I think he got it to 100 miles. But it works. The gizmo works. So, but I'll tell you, the technology and this year with the planets and the different things that are moving and the patterns that we're seeing in the sky, inventions and things like that are going to really come to light. Is it older than that? Okay. I remember when it was just starting to get tested. So I can't remember even what I had for lunch. But I remember when it was in the, I think it's older than that. It is very telling, isn't it? isn't it, Donna? I think I should send it. It's very telling. I think it's very telling. What have they got to lose? What have they got to lose? Yes, I've seen it work. It's incredible for sure. And then because you could be just driving around in a car, right? And have the gizmo hanging out, going. And if it beep, 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 there it is. But the thing about it is the gizmo doesn't give you a spot, but combined with the chart and the mapping, you can kind of hone in on an area, which in this kind of terrain, it's critical because this is dangerous terrain. It's dangerous for search and rescue animals. It's just dangerous. And then you need somebody like Mike's thinking that thinks through, well, what would they do and where would they go? I'm not that analytical. I'm not that analytical, Don. I don't think like that. I just do the math. Just do the math. So that is her story. I thought it was pretty incredible. I was very thrilled with this map. Boy, and it takes, because you don't want to get discouraged, but then I thought I'm going to keep trying till I get there. I will, Tammy, send it. I will. I thought I'm going to get there, but the third map, it worked. It worked. Look at that. It's got to be. I wish I was closer. I'm telling you, but San Diego's a pretty long way away. It is incredible. This forensic astrology is pretty amazing stuff, y'all. It's pretty. Kirsty McIntosh, I'm telling you, you're the expert. It's pretty incredible. It's accurate. Okay, if you all think and are seeing things online right now, I'm telling you right now, this pattern is in play right now. This has never been recorded in the history of the earth. We've gone back this year to some patterns in the sky that are 14,000, 14,000, 12,000 years old, 6,000 years old. And I thought we had seen it all with the 14,000, the 12,000. Used to be, it would be 200 years ago, and I would be impressed. Now this pattern, y'all, and we are in this now for the next 18th, 3 days, week and a half. Week and a half, okay? This pattern has never been in history before. This is a very big wake-up call for all of us, for humanity. It's going to affect the world. This is in outer planets of Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. What else am I forgetting? That starts it, right? Now, look what happens when I get to the 19th. These are all at 4 degrees. Look, we have Pluto at 4 degrees. We have Neptune at 4 degrees. We have Uranus at 4 degrees, Jupiter at 4 degrees, and the moon in Libra comes in at 4 degrees, and we've got a 5-pointed star. Again. Now, this has been, you'll see this online. People are calling it a Barbeau's basket. Barbeau is a French astrologer that before his death in 2019, he accurately said we are going to have a pandemic. And he called it a pandemic in 2020. He accurately saw the fall of the Berlin Wall with, it would have been Neptune, Saturn conjunction, great conjunction, which is what we had, right? We had that in February. This is big stuff coming in, y'all. This is huge. We don't know what this is going to do. It's very supported but it's change. So if you pay attention to things from now till the end of the month, we're in this now, right? Look at this. This is the full moon at the end of the month. I have never seen a full moon like this ever, you guys. We're going to have to navigate through this. It's got what we call an iron yod or a hammer of Thor. This is all Aquarius. It's got squares galore. Squares are harsh, and it's in Aquarius. We've got Uranus squaring the lunar nodes, Saturn and Mercury squaring. We've got Mars, Venus squaring with Pluto. Sun is opposing. The Sun and Jupiter are opposing the Moon and Pluto. This is gigantic on the 29th. And I never sound the alarm. I just don't do it because I don't believe in it. I'm sounding it now. The 29th of July, I want people to be very, very careful of their surroundings. And I hate fear. I don't want to put it out there, but this is combust. Just be very, very cautious. Just be cautious. That's it. Don't have your head in your phone. If you go out in a crowd, pay attention on what's going on. This thing is massive. I'm more worried about this full moon than I am about the bucket. And I'm not kidding. This thing is lethal. But you got to remember, the full moon shuts the door on this. And we've got another basket next year. These are things we have never seen before in the skies. Pay attention. You know how accurate the forensic astrology is. Why wouldn't the mundane astrology be just as accurate? Because it is. So I never, in however many times I have done this show, I've never put out an alarm bell. And I'm doing it on the 29th. I hope everything's cool. I hope it just blows right by us. I will be so relieved and so happy. But for now, just be aware on the 29th, and this is a.m. Eastern time. By the evening, we should start to be moving away and stuff, right? Separating. Just be aware of this. Just be careful. This is more than that, Kathy. The military's being shipped out. This I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm gonna keep looking at it more. Keep that in the back of your mind on that day. If you got plans, still do it. Go out, but just be aware. I've never seen anything like that. We had a little splash. Tammy, Donna, just so you're aware, Tammy has search and rescue in Texas. She has her dog. She has search and rescue in Texas. Tammy does, Donna. Can he search fresh water as well? And does decomp smell different to him in salt water versus fresh? That's a great question. Okay. Splash is king. Splash can search fresh water as well as salt. When he hits an area, he blows bubbles and will grab Mike's mask if he's right there with him. He blows bubbles. Splash blows bubbles when he hits on an area. I love Splash. We got to have a show and have Mike bring Splash on. You know it. We got to have a show. I love our little Splash. So does the sheriff. You know, nothing would surprise me. You know, but I think it's all with this basket. I'm not worried about that at all because of where this hits in the U.S. chart. I'm not worried about that. I don't like the new moon. I don't like the full moon, but it is I just don't like it. But again, we could go by with nothing. At least it's not like Uranus and Mars, which was what we saw happen on May's chart. We don't have that. So I am not. Let them go do their thing. I have full trust in that. I have full trust in that. Oh, bring them on the Otter's Den. Oh, they would. I will. We'll wait. We'll do it when Mike. I'll check with Mike. We've had Mike on before, y'all, but we've never had Lil Splash. We've never had Lil Splash. It is a pentagram. It's a five pointed star is a pentacle or a pentagram. That's not a. I don't think it's a star, David. No, I don't think so. It's a star. It's a great star. Now remember, the moon in Libra will be moving very, very quickly. So this is only going to happen at a certain hour with the star. And then we just go back to the little basket. And then we go back to, boom, we're back in the basket. I hope see this blue. We want blue. Everywhere we want blue. So we got a lot of blue. Well, we got Pluto and Jupiter. This is all red. Everything on this is red. This is blue. We like blue. So we'll just hope. It is. That 5-star, the 5-pointed star is it's perfect. It's perfect. It's wonderful. This is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And Barbeau, who I just got his book today, said he is the French astrologer who predicted all of this, said this is I forget what he said. This is the most beautiful configuration in this century. The most beautiful configuration to hit humanity in this century. It's going out in a bang. What's going to happen on the full moon? Maybe we're going to have a bunch of vampires show up or something. I don't know. But we'll be careful. We'll keep an eye on this. We're in this now. He said, I'm going to start reading his book tomorrow. So if I get anything in the book, I'll let y'all know. But he said the most beautiful configuration in this century. And we're living in it. So be very aware of everything the next week and a half. So it's really neat. It's powerful. This is wonderful. This is fabulous. This is unbelievable. So we're in this right now. It's great. This is all cotton in this blue. So we need to have Little Splashy on the show. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do that. That would be neat. Mike's fun. We have a lot of fun on the show. Maybe Doc could come on too and talk about the I don't know if he would talk about Gizmo or not. We'll have to see. I'll ask. I'll find out. We'll do it in the fall. Because I know it's search season and they're busy. Mike is always going around with a little Splash. Splash is a star. Splash is like the Taylor Swift of otters. Splash is the Taylor Swift of otters. Splash is he's a star. Great show. Well, you take care, hon, and take care of your cold. Have a great week, everybody. Maybe our dormant DNA gets activated. My DNA is fine. Our DNA doesn't need to get activated. Cindy, we don't want our DNA activated. I just want to do charts. Have a good evening. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Kathy. Be safe, everybody. And haven't y'all noticed how weird the weather has been? I mean, come on, y'all. um, tornadoes in Texas and in freaking Canada. You know, I'm worried about that. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see because they're here. There's 2 million. A lot of them are gone, but there's a lot that came over from 2020 to 2024. It's a known fact, 2 million gotaways, and they were all military-aged men. Go look at JLR when he was down on the border and he was filming it. It's a fact. We watched JLR. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me. I remember when Mike was on, and I've always loved the doctor. I read his book many years ago. Yeah, they're good guys. I call those, you know what I call them, Donna? Batman and Robin. When they go on their road trip. It's Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. Yeah, I was thinking of that today too, y'all. We're all on the same page. Kathy too. We all just got to take care of each other. We all look out and take care of each other. That's all we can do, and vibe higher. Vibe above the noise and the chaos. That's all we got to do. Look down at it. Yeah, Batman and Robin, those two. But we need to see Splash, and maybe he could show Splash in the pool or something. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they are. I'm sure. Wouldn't surprise me. Just be careful. Be safe. Be careful, everybody. And I will see y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. I just wanted to make you guys aware of this because it's crazy. But I'm going to send this in. I'll send this in and we'll see what happens. I'll do something and make it look halfway decent where it doesn't have all my highlighter crap all over it. Like, it's like, what? What is this lady crazy? So, but I will keep up with true crime, see what else is coming out on, there's a lot of Nancy Guthrie stuff going through. Have y'all seen a lot of that stuff? So we'll keep an eye on what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. I'm not sure if there's any trials upcoming. I don't think so. I think we're seeing them all, but I'm not too sure, but we'll keep up with old cases too, because I remember when we did Maya May's case, I remember the community. I was really impressed, and I remember the community got together. So, all right, y'all. Well, listen, have a great week. Stay safe with this weather. It's crazy. I like to send out, if I see any weather stuff, because I'm a weather freak, I'll send out notices to everybody. Just keep an eye on the weather next couple of days. So, I know, Lee. There's a lot of fields in Arizona where they have found backpacks and tennis shoes, hundreds of pairs, because there was a lot of missing children, and that still has to be uncovered. So that's coming too in Arizona. That's all in Arizona. Hundreds. Thousands. So, but y'all have a safe week. Be good, be kind, and be safe. Okay. Watch the weather. Thanks a million for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Good night.